Thank you. Question, is the amendment be agreed to? Ms Lauder.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ordinarily I would rise and say I was pleased to speak to a motion put forward by my colleague Mr Coe, but today I'm not pleased. In fact, I'm really disappointed that we've had to bring this motion to highlight the appalling statements made by the Chief Minister. As the Shadow Minister for Seniors, I was actually shocked by the comments made by the Chief Minister when he made clear his opinion of those who read, watch or seek their news from the traditional news media, and that a large portion of those are seniors. Madam Speaker, under this government, seniors are not just being ignored, but they're systematically targeted. Currently, there are 68,193 people in the ACT over the age of 60, and this is only going to increase with the baby boomer generation ageing. Over the next 40 years, the number of seniors will double. The Chief Minister last week made it very clear how he feels about seniors, how he feels about their opinions, and how he wants to live in a place where as soon as you become a senior, you leave town, or perhaps something even darker or more permanent, or at very least, if you remain, that the government no longer has any requirement to consult or engage with you. What the Chief Minister actually said was the average age of the viewership of the ABC News in the evening, the 7 p.m. bulletin, is in their mid-60s. The Canberra Times has a circulation of less than 15,000 print edition. Fewer and fewer people are accessing traditional media, therefore we have to completely overhaul the way we communicate as a government. But this is ignoring those people that need that traditional media. One of the biggest issues I hear about facing seniors, Madam Speaker, is loneliness. I've heard this over and over again as I've recently taken up the role of Shadow Minister for Seniors. We have to make sure that seniors remain connected and engaged with their community wherever we can, and the traditional media is one of those channels. I can assure you, as Mr Coe has, that we don't always agree with what happens and what's being reported in the Canberra Times, but we must acknowledge and appreciate the role that the media play in a democracy. Last week was Seniors Week, and I can tell you that the seniors community were not happy about those remarks. I spent the whole day on Thursday at the Seniors Expo talking to people. The sentiment on the ground was of disappointment but not surprise that the Chief Minister had shown his true colours yet again, backing up previous comments he'd made about seniors. We have a Labor government here in the ACT that don't want to listen to seniors. They don't want to keep them abreast of what the government are doing. We have a Labor government here in the ACT that want to increase their rates and charges. They want to take away their concessions. They want to increase the eligibility age for the seniors card. And we have a federal Labor opposition that wants to take away their tax credits. Labor's new retirement tax would hit 3,877 pensioners in the ACT. So Labor is happy to see 3,877 pensioners in the ACT worse off with the new proposed retirement tax. Madam Speaker, it's clear to see that the Labor Party inherently hates seniors and sees them as an easy target. We're talking about those people who've spent their entire life building our community, paying taxes and rates and fees and charges, and now they're being used as a soft target to fund pet projects. According to this Labor government, as soon as you retire, as soon as you're no longer a member of a union, they chew you up and throw you out. They don't want to know about you anymore. The Labor Party, in particular this government, not only hates journalists, but also seniors. One of the rationales for hating journalists was that only old people read their papers or listen to the news. But over here on this side of the chamber, we understand something about seniors. We understand that we must listen to them, no matter how they get their news, no matter their opinions, and above all, we must respect them, even if they disagree with us. While this Chief Minister doesn't want to hear the view of seniors, he's certainly willing to take their taxes. He's willing to increase their rates, reduce their subsidies and concessions, but don't ask for their opinions on planning because they're just old. As an Assembly, we must respect their experience. Seniors are often, but not always, retired, so they have a lifetime of experience behind them. But now they also have the time to review policy and contribute to public debate, which they may not have had in those years when they had full-time work and were raising their families. For many seniors, it's a way of keeping engaged with the community and keeping their minds active and using the years of experience that they've garnered. They've reached a point in their lives where they may be physically, mentally and financially able to give back to the community through volunteering and contributing to policy debate. Yet this government is continually devaluing, degrading and dismissing their contribution. Communication isn't just a hashtag or a one-word tweet unless, as this Chief Minister seems to be moving towards, you adhere to the Trumpian model of communication via Twitter. Madam Speaker, I also want to make some comments directly relating to the crossbench. These arrogant and out-of-touch comments from the Chief Minister will continue unless we as an Assembly call him out for this and hold him to account. The Chief Minister, with his apology that wasn't an apology this morning, hasn't taken responsibility for his actions. He's sorry he was caught out, not for what he said. Right. We have the responsibility to call him out and say, this is not good enough. In the Canberra Times of the 12th of March, I'll quote, Ms Lakuta also hit out at Mr Barr's apparent dismissal of the views of older Canberrans, saying that even people over 60 years old were important and the most rapidly growing demographic in the ACT. So I say to Ms Lakuta, just this once, won't you back up your words in the paper with your vote in the Assembly? Don't come into the chamber having told us in the media what you think and then vote a different way in the chamber. Don't say one thing out there and another thing here in the chamber. We see you do it. Are you happy with what the Chief Minister said, or will you fall back into line once again, pretending to be a crossbench to those out in the public arena but refusing to act as one in the chamber? If you vote against this censure motion, you're allowing him to degrade you and your views. You're allowing him to ignore you and your views. We know that Mr Rattenbury is shackled to the government as a minister, but Ms Lakuta is not. If you choose to oppose this motion, you are endorsing his comments. Expressing hatred and contempt for part of the community based on their occupation or age or race or religion or any other demographic is contrary to the Code of Conduct for Members of the Legislative Assembly, which states that members should treat all citizens of the Australian Capital Territory with courtesy and respect the diversity of their backgrounds, experiences and views. It also states ministers are rightly expected to uphold and demonstrate the highest standards of personal and professional conduct and must act with integrity, probity and respect for others. The parliamentary agreement between Mr Barr on behalf of ACT Labor and the two Greens members commits itself to social inclusion and participation in community life. But it's quite clear from Mr Barr's comments that social inclusion doesn't apply to everyone. Can you imagine the outrage if these comments related to a multicultural group or women or a disability group and we said we hate them and we're not going to consult them anymore, we don't care about their views. But it seems to be okay for Mr Barr to say that about seniors. This motion should be the time for all of us to come together to reflect and say, this is not good enough. The basic question here is, were the Chief Minister's comments okay? If you think so, vote against the motion. If you think the comments were not okay, you should support the motion from Mr Coe this morning. I commend this censure motion from Mr Coe because I do not support those comments from Mr Barr.